I don't think I'd care to look at a nun's legs. It would be very impolite.
Hello everyone, welcome to Bath Abbey Cemetery to find the final resting place of Arnold Ridley, who played Godfrey in Dad's Army. Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run? What a great series that was. But this is a fantastic story because in reality he was completely different to Godfrey. You think of that old gentle chap that won't squash a fly. Well, in real life Arnold was a strong man who sustained horrific injuries in the First World War. So don't go away, watch the story, it's good. So Arnold tried to get into the First World War, but he was rejected at first because he had a hammer toe caused by a sporting injury. I think I can go now. But being the brave man that he was, he went back a year later. Now, because the army had depleted its forces due to fighting, they took him in the second time round, and he went out to the Somme. He was a second officer major. He'd risen through the ranks. He was a brave guy, and he was on the front line fighting hand-to-hand combat. Now, you've got to remember that conscientious objectors weren't always cowards. You think of them as that, but they weren't. Sometimes they were stretcher bearers carrying the dead from the front line in great danger. They just didn't want to kill. They weren't always cowards at all. But Arnold was nothing like that. He wasn't a conscientious objector. He was a fighter. And one day on the front line, he went into a trench full of Germans, and that was it. They tried to kill him. The first one came up with an army butt of the rifle and went bang, hit him on the head with the butt. The helmet saved him, but he had constant blackouts after that for years. It caused a lot of damage, but he wasn't knocked out. And then the guy came in with a bayonet. My God, it was going to kill him. I mean, it's not like Joneses did like it up him. It was a case of he was going to stab him in the chest. He deflected the bayonet down into his groin, and it cut tendons and caused a lot of damage. But it wasn't over yet. They were out to kill him, and the second bayonet went into his left hand. And that's why if you watch the series, he can never hold a rifle. He always has the bag, the first aid bag, because his hand was completely damaged. So yeah, the injuries were absolutely horrific. He got legs full of shrapnel from fighting. He was just a mess. So they had to take him out of the war. And he won medals. He won the silver medal and a Victoria medal. So he was a brave man that won lots of medals, and that's the real character, nothing like the Godfrey character. Having said that, if you watch the series, when it begins, they all think he's a conscientious objector, and they put him down a bit, but then they realise he's got a bravery medal, and in one episode he tries to save Captain Mannering, and they all begin to respect him more. But the real chap in real life was very brave. He went on to fight in the Second World War as well. He went in 1939, but they had to take him out again because of the original injuries. He wasn't strong enough. So he was sent back home. And he tells a story. One day in 1940, he's walking down the street, and this lady sees him, and she thinks, oh, there he's a conscious objector not doing his bit. And she brings him a white feather. And that is why you should never judge a book by the cover. This guy was super brave, super strong, and a really, powerful, a man who fought for his country, far more important than being an actor. So yeah, you should never judge a book by the cover. When he came out of the war, he joined ENSA, that's the Entertainment National Service Association, and people like George Formby and Vera Lynn were a part of that. They entertained the troops, and he did his bit. He was used to treading the boards. So he always made himself useful, did Arnold. Arnold Ridley was born in Walcott in Bath, England, where his father was a gymnast instructor. He also ran a boot and shoe shop. Arnold attended the Clarendon School in Bath city centre, where he was a keen sportsman. A graduate of the University of Bristol, one of his earliest acting roles was when he played Hamlet in a student production. He became a student teacher and made his theatrical debut in Prunella at the Royal Theatre, Bristol, where he volunteered for the British Army Services in August 1914. He was rejected due to his toe injury, but in 1915 was able to enlist as a private in the Somerset Light Infantry. He saw active service in World War I, sustaining several serious injuries. His left hand was virtually useless by injuries sustained at the Battle of Somme. His legs were riddled with shrapnel, He was bayoneted in the groin, and as a legacy of a blow to the head by a German soldier's rifle, this left him prone to blackouts. He was medically discharged from the army at the rank of Lance Corporal. After his medical discharge in 1916, Arnold went into acting. In 1918, he joined the Birmingham Repertory Theatre, staying for 2 years and playing 40 parts before moving to Plymouth. After being stranded for an evening at Mangersfield railway station near Bristol, Arnold was inspired to write his most famous play, The Ghost Train, in 1923. It was the tale of passengers stranded at a haunted railway station in Cornwall, with one of the characters being a detective trying to catch the smugglers. The show became a huge success, enjoying 665 performances in the London West End and 2 revivals. The Ghost Train was first adapted for films in 1931 and again in 1941 when it starred Arthur Askey. Unfortunately, when he was hard up, Arnold had sold the amateur rights to The Ghost Train, which could have made him a fortune had they been retained. Arnold also wrote over 30 other plays, including The Wreck, 1924, Keeper of the Youth, 1929, The Flying Fool, 1929, and Recipe for Murder, 1936. Having unsuccessfully attempted to establish a film company between the wars, Arnold rejoined the army in 1939 with the rank of Major. He again saw active service with the British Expeditionary Force in France during the Second World War, but he was discharged on health grounds, subsequently joining the Home Guard. During his time in the military service in the Second World War, he adapted an Agatha Christie novel, Pearl at the End House, into a West End play that premiered in 1940. Arnold's post-war play Beggar My Neighbour was first performed in 1951 and adapted for the healing comedy film Meet My Lucifer in 1953. Arnold worked regularly as an actor, including an appearance in the British comedy Crooks and Cloisters in 1964. He also played Doug Hood, the village baker, in a popular radio soap. However, he only became an household name after he was cast in the most famous role as Private Charles Godfrey, the gentle platoon medic, and at the age of 86 was appointed an OBE in the Queen's New Honours List in 1982 for services to the theatre. Arnold Ridley died in hospital in Northwood in 1984, aged 88, after falling at his residence in Denville Hall. I'm actually here, I think. Yes, I am. I've seen it now. I've seen the picture on the grave. It's got a picture of Godfrey on the grave. Arnold, in other words. Yeah, it's super. Let's move in. I only had to walk from there to here because it was just chucking down with rain. Oh my God. Here we go. I'll spin it round. And there we are. Hello, Arnold. It's a privilege to be here. You were a super brave guy and did your bit for the army, for sure. Arnold, it's a privilege. I say that quite often, but in this case it really is, because you were a very, very courageous man. It's far more important than being an actor, in actual fact. There it is. So it's absolutely teeming down now. I've actually forgotten to bring the flower with me. I've got to admit it. I'm very sorry, Arnold, but you know my thoughts and my heart behind this. Got to go under the tree. Everything's against me today. It's just chucking it down. Thank you, Arnold. It's an absolute privilege to do this film. You were a very brave man. Oh my God, it's bouncing. So there we are. Do not judge a book by its cover, like that lady did. That is one thing that people often do. And in a way, if ever you're having a bad day and somebody, pips at you or shouts at you, remember that. They don't know you. It's just a moment in time. They won't be in your life for long. Water off a duck's back. That's what I need today, water off my back. Okay, it's absolutely chucking it, but look, if you enjoyed the film today, don't forget to subscribe, ding that bell, and give me a comment, because I always answer the comments if I can. You know I love them. And it's great to see you all. We're like a little family on the YouTube, aren't we? So bye from me in a very wet bath. I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye bye.